These are my helpers, and they are going to be pantomiming what would have been on the screen. We've spent a whole year building up trust by having volunteers come up here, such that now they are ready to actually act out the entire presentation. Good morning. Now, I'd like you to, I'm going to click, and the next screen says, how do you feel this morning? So act that out.
Crazy.
All right, how do you all feel this morning? Woo! Woohoo! Oh my goodness, it's the last class. We made it. We did it. Can you act out? We did it. We made it. It's May 2nd. Can you believe it? I can hardly believe it. We have been through so much together this year, and in a lot of ways, we've seen our journey happen through the second grade class. Because the second graders, in going through the sacrament of reconciliation first, and now First Communion, they've been the inspiration for a lot of these presentations. Our second graders, we are so proud to say, yesterday had their First Communion. So let's have a round of applause for them. And Mary Ann is in her First Communion outfit this morning because she did the May crowning at the 8 a.m. Mass. Every year we have students from the second grade class crown Mary. Second graders, who's willing to tell me how you felt right before your First Communion?
Excited to make my presentation.
Was anybody a little nervous? No? No nerves? They were prepared. They were really well prepared. How did you feel after you made your First Communion?
Happy. Happy.
How do you feel about going to Mass now that you're able to receive communion at every Mass?
Good.
Is Mass more exciting to you now?
Yes.
Yeah, you get to really live out the heart of the Mass, which is receiving the Eucharist. Congratulations, we're so happy that you've been with us this year, and I know I'm going to be looking for all of you going through the communion line, and I'll be so happy when I see you going up to receive communion because you're receiving Jesus into your heart. It's amazing. Another round of applause, please. On this last family lesson is a review of where we have been so that we can think about where we want to go. Speaking of where we want to go, raise your hand if you were aware that this was designated Laptop Sunday. Okay, raise your hand if you actually brought a laptop. Okay. The reason I asked you to bring a laptop at the last minute was because we have been crafting a survey. We want to hear from you, all of your thoughts about the Faith Formation program. We want to know what times work best for you, what you liked, what you think we can improve. We want to know, as adults, what you would like to see happen during class time. As you know, we will not be having Deacon and Donuts next year because our wonderful Deacon Daniel on June 20th will become Father Daniel Finnerty when he is ordained as a priest. Isn't that amazing? It's so thrilling and we're so happy for him. But what are we going to do up on this stage during class time? Well, that's part of what this survey is about. More on that survey. If you have a laptop and your name is in the first half of the alphabet, A through M. Try and log on now. Our bandwidth is not the greatest, so we're going to try and do this in halves. I sent an morning, and I posted the link on Facebook to the survey. So if your last name is A through M, go ahead and try to log on. And if someone can let me know if you're not able to log on. All right, so part of our looking back, let's think about what we've done here together. We've actually been in this room together many times, right? Starting at the very beginning of the year, we had our opening presentation. And in our opening presentation, it was a getting to know you quiz. Do you remember some of the people who were up here? We asked them questions about how well they know each other. You were up here, that's right. You got all the questions right. Father Leo was up here and Deacon Daniel was up here. Guess what? I had all of this on the presentation so you could see. But our point at the beginning of the year was, we gather together because there's always more to know about each other, and most of all, there's always more to know about God, because He's constantly revealing Himself in new ways to us. In October, for the month of Mary, we had a lesson. Mrs. Celia, will you hold that up? A lesson on the rosary. And Father Leo blessed the rose petal rosaries, which were given to all of you. Question. We're going to do a little bit of a game. It's called Stand Up If, Stay Standing If. Stand up if you were here for the rosary lesson. Stand up if you were here for the rosary lesson. Stay standing if you have prayed the rosary at least one time since that lesson. Very nice, very nice. Okay, you can sit down. Stand up if you listen to music. Stay standing if you listen to Justin Bieber. There's one honest young man over there. Stand up if you like to sing. Stand up if you like to sing in the shower. Aha! Okay, you can all sit. Stand up if you remember what the backpack presentation was about. It was about the sacrament of reconciliation, right? We used a backpack and some stones to demonstrate how our sins are like stones that fill up our backpack. Our backpack is our soul. And reconciliation is dumping out the backpack, getting rid of all of that weight. So stay standing if you've gone to reconciliation at least once since that presentation. Some of you yes, some of you no. Always an open invitation to unload your backpack. It's great to see so many of you standing. You can all go ahead and sit down. Stand up if you spend at least 2 hours in front of the TV every day. Stay standing if you spend more than 3 hours in front of the TV. Stay standing if you spend at least 4 hours in front of the TV. Stand up if you spend all day in front of the TV. All right. Stand up if you remember what the name of this image is. It was a presentation. Some people? This is Our Lady of Guadalupe. I told the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the miraculous image that over 500 years later is still perfectly intact on a surface that should have decayed in no more than 50 years. Okay, stand up if you'd like to get presents. Stay standing if you prefer to give presents rather than to receive presents. Stay standing if you prefer to give. All right, we have some honesty there. Okay, you can all sit down. Stand up if you remember what this present was a part of. There was a day when you were all invited here to wrap a present. You wrote something down as a family, wrapped it up. A couple people, the family Advent retreat. You wrote down as a family what you were going to do for Advent. Stay standing if, as a family, you did at least one of the things you had written down. Okay, some people standing, excellent. Stand up if you like to go swimming. Stay standing if you have ever forced someone else to go swimming by pushing them into a pool. Stay standing if the person you pushed into the pool had regular clothes on. Oh, it's so mean, but it feels so good. It's so fun to push someone into a pool. You know what's ruined it? Cell phones. It's not fun to push people into pools anymore when they have clothes on because they probably have a cell phone in their pocket and you probably ruined it, and it's not funny anymore. I know through personal experience. Okay, you can all sit down. Stand up if you remember what a basin full of water and a water jug were a part of. This one was recent. It was part of the family Lent retreat, right? Where we demonstrated Christ. We talked about Christ washing the feet of his disciples, and we, as family members, washed one another's hands. Stay standing if, after doing that activity, it made you think for a little bit about the ways you serve one another in your family. Okay. Well, that's why we go through this. We remind ourselves what we actually learned. Okay, you can all sit down. Once again, I really needed the video projector because I was going to show you a clip of the movie called The Lion King. Stand up if you remember what topic was presented on when we showed the clip of The Lion King.
Push that button.
Okay, stay standing if you're willing to come up and imitate being Mufasa. It was about baptism, right? We talked about how in The Lion King, Simba looks into the water and at first all he sees is his own reflection. But then after Rafiki touches the water, he sees the reflection of his father, Mufasa. And how at our baptism, that's what happens. The holy water is poured over us, and the Trinity comes to dwell within us, so that if we could look into the waters of baptism, what we would actually see is not our own reflection, we would see the reflection of God. Nobody is willing to be Mufasa? Okay, fine, I'll do it. Because I want to say a line. Is Christian Andrews here? Oh. There's a special line from The Lion King. We bring this up in youth group because it's really what God is saying to us. I want to say it to you. Do you want to say it? Let's remember.
Remember who you are.
He says, remember who you are. You are my son, the one true king. Remember who you are. Something like that. Christian Andrews can do it really well. That's what God is saying to us at every Mass. Remember who you are. You are God's chosen one. Don't let sin block that out. Okay, so we've gone through a lot together, right? There have been a lot of presentations, a lot of demonstrations, a lot of noble volunteers. Can we have a hand for these volunteers? But we want to talk about now where we want to go in the future. Because this has been an exciting year. A lot of wonderful things have happened. Stand up if you've experienced something positive here as part of faith formation on a Sunday morning. Stay standing if you think we can continue to build an even better program that's even more engaging, that makes you want to come here on a Sunday morning. Stay standing if you're willing to help me do that. Awesome, because that's what I want. Part of this presentation is a plea to you. You can all sit down. Because the way we create something exciting and energizing and grace-filled is by everyone contributing their own talents. We all have the chance to really grow together. And part of the survey is going to be asking you, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to give? And I'd like to tell you all right now, one thing I'm really looking for next year is adults to help with the junior high program. We want to create a new sort of junior high program, and I'm going to need parents. It doesn't mean you have to feel like you're an expert on the faith. It doesn't mean you have to feel like you're super holy. It means you're willing to contribute something, whether it's an hour, whether it's a one-time thing, whether you're like, yeah, I want to teach, or you're like, I prefer brute labor, I will take out the trash when you're done. I would love someone to take out the trash for me because it's usually too big and heavy for me to lift, and it's scary to walk out these doors alone at night to the dumpster. So to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the things we're going to be offering, I have a couple people who are going to tell you some things we're going to launch in the fall that are going to be, one is directed at men, one is directed at women, and then there's something I'll share about a training we'll be offering.
I'd like to thank the one student that applauded for me. Or it was my wife, I wasn't sure which one. Hey, I'm Brian Matthews, and Eric asked me to speak a little bit. I was lucky enough, I spoke at the confirmation retreat. I talked to the kids about my journey a little bit. I had never been to church before I was 21 and met my wife. And through the grace of God and everything, really love where I'm at with my relationship with God and those things. But I remember I was thinking back to 21 years or many years ago when we had our kids. And I didn't know anything about being a dad, being a father, those type of things. And really many people in this parish, from Ray Grundy to John Peach and other people, really helped me. I went to a lot of book studies, book clubs, and different things. So this summer, I'm actually going to be doing a book club for men called Be a Man. Called Be a Man. Now don't worry guys, your wives did not all personally call me to say, hey, like them in this book study. But Father Larry Richards is in Pennsylvania and wrote this book, and it's called Be a Man. I want to talk a little bit about the book and why it might be a good thing. So these are the top 3 reasons I thought guys sitting out there might say, I am not going to join that. Top 3 reasons. Number 1, time. I don't have the time to do one more thing. I can assure you, I have just as much mulching, fishing, and other things to do as everybody else. This meets 8 to 9 every other Saturday. So it's 2 Saturdays a month, 2 hours a month. I believe all of us could grow closer to God 2 hours a month. It's not too much. Number 2, I'm not smart enough to be in a book club. I can assure you, I am not a smart person. You could ask my wife, my friends. I've only ever taught up to 6th grade in CCD. I took this book and read it, and it's actually on a 3rd grade level. So we should all be able to do that. And there's actually a few pictures in it. The book's a very easy read. It isn't one to scare you off. Number 3, the top reason you might not join the Be a Book Club. Your wife won't let you. Their wives. Who would like their husband to do this book club? All right. So those 3 reasons are not happening. We're starting at June 6th. You gotta rig it. We're starting this June 6th. Here at the church in the library, it goes 8 to 9. I'll bring snacks the first week, but I'm hoping to get some guys to be in this book study. Be a man. I will bring the books so you don't have to worry about buying them. All you got to do is show up. June 6th, 8 to 9. We hope to see some of you guys there. Thank you.
If your last name is N through Z and you have a laptop, try to log on and do the survey now. We're going to be offering things for women in addition to what Teresa's going to be presenting on. I want you to know that we're going to have a women's retreat day here on October 10th, which I will be facilitating.
Hi, my name is Teresa Peach, and some of you may have heard of the Familia study. We ran it here in the parish several years ago. Familia stands for Family Life in America. And we studied some of the letters that John Paul wrote specifically on marriage and the family to give us that boost we need to feel inspired to lead our families and to serve in all the many different roles that we have as women. So I'm going to send out more information in the fall, and I'd just like to kind of give you a heads up. It's really been a blessing to a lot of women. We also meet twice a month, and we see where we can form groups of women. And we'll meet in the morning, afternoons, or evening, wherever we can get a group of 10 to meet. So it's been a real inspiration to me, and I'm glad to be able to share that with you this fall. Thank you.
We'll be posting this information on the website and the Facebook page. Finally, another opportunity I want to invite you to in June is an information night about something called Catechesis of the Good Shepherd. I'll abbreviate it CGS. What it is a Montessori-style religious education. And if you have a kindergartner, you know that that's what they have been experiencing this year. We're looking to expand that program. It's really based on a hands-on approach. It's very child-led and child-centered. And we are going to be hosting a training for it. And Little Flower is willing to pay half or possibly all of the tuition if you agree to be a catechist with us. There are purple trifolds on the back table that describe this. If you have any interest whatsoever in being involved in the faith lives of young children, pick up one of these brochures and check it out. Finally, I would like to invite onto the stage our confirmation class. Any 8th graders? Come on up. These are the ones you never see on stage, because it's always the 2nd and 3rd graders who volunteer. Come on up. So, 2 weeks ago, our confirmation class had their retreat, and it was from Friday to Sunday. And we spent Friday night here at Little Flower, spent the whole day at Little Flower, and then went to Walsh University down the road and spent the night there. And we did sleep on floors, and Father Leo was with us, and he slept on the floor, and I slept on the floor, and we all slept on the floors. But I invited them up here, first of all, so you can see who will be making their confirmation on Wednesday, May 19th. So while we're finishing our faith formation program, they're not quite there yet. They're really close. So we need to keep them in prayers. I also invited a few of them to share with you a little bit about the retreat, because to me, the confirmation retreat was really it symbolized what we've tried to do here all year. Our youth group was really involved, our high schoolers, in helping to lead this retreat. They were present with the 8th graders. It was bridging that gap. It was active, it was energetic. There were times for fun, there were times for really profound spiritual reflection here at our beautiful grounds, from the grotto to the church to adoration at midnight. So, I would like a few of them to share some things they enjoyed about the retreat.
Okay. My favorite part about the retreat was the witness talks, because it was nice to see other people's points of view.
Okay. My favorite part of the retreat was probably going through the grotto and praying the stations. It was just kind of a group thing. We all did it together, and you could really feel like the unity of all of us just praying together, and you could feel the suffering as we went through, but it was really powerful. And then at the end we kind of got to hear another witness talk, and we got to reflect and write in our journals a little bit. And so it was a really nice day out too, so that kind of helped. But it really it was part of the retreat that I remember most fondly, and that really made me start to enjoy it. So.
Alright, I'm Nick Cordado. I'm gonna be straight up honest. I didn't think I'm right in saying that none of us wanted to go to the retreat, because you don't have your cell phone. Because you think your cell phone is like your life, but it's really not. God is your life. So the first 24 hours for all of us was just horrific, because none of us had our cell phones. We didn't know how to talk to each other. We're all from different schools. But then after the first 24 hours, we started talking to people, like back in those olden days. So we started talking to each other, and you started to learn more about each other. And then you started talking to their own witness talks. So it's kind of like we had our own mini witness talks within the witness talks. So that's what I liked about it, meeting new people and finding their stories.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, I think my favorite part of the retreat was, not everybody did this, but we were over at Walsh, and we were supposed to go talk to the high schoolers who were doing the hunger fast. Well, we got down there and they were asleep. So we went up and we were in the church during adoration, and just sitting there listening to the silence and the sounds, and really just embracing everything around you and the silence. I felt like the Holy Spirit was truly with me, and I think that was my favorite part. And like Nick said, the first 24 hours was kind of awkward, because I think most of us were thinking, let's get this weekend over with, let's hurry this up. But I think it was fun because we didn't just sit there and talk. We actually got up, we did stuff, and by the end of the weekend, me and some of my friends were talking, and we're like, I don't want this to end, I want it to keep going. It was really fun. So.
Okay, one more.
Okay, what I like most of all was that like during the day, there was always something that we were doing. Like we never were just sitting around like doing nothing. And I just like that we never, none of us ever didn't know each other, because we all became friends and we didn't know each other in the beginning. It was just.
So, these guys are awesome. They were amazing on the retreat. They really were. They were so open and fun. And part of what I thought was, man, I wish we didn't have to wait till the very end of 8th grade to experience this, to get to know each other, to have really prayerful experiences at Little Flower. And that's part of what we want to create next year for the whole junior high. We want this experience to happen earlier, because it's a lot better to go through Sunday mornings with people you feel like you're friends with, people you know, and to know, as Nick so eloquently said, your phone is not your life, God is your life. Great quote. So, parents, yeah, let's give them a round of applause. This is who we need to pray for. These are the faces we want to see in youth ministry next year. Parents, as you fill out the survey, please think of this. Please think of how the Lord might be prompting you to get involved. Whether it's helping on a retreat, helping in a classroom, standing here and being security in the hallways, keeping an eye on the doors, helping clean up, helping pick up the donuts on Donut Sunday. That's a job someone has to do. I want to grow with you. I want to build an incredible program for next year, and I think that's what we all want, and together we can do that. So, as we depart to our classrooms for our final class, let's take this energy and the inspiration of this year with us into the summer. One last stand up if question. Stand up if you're going on a vacation this summer. Stay standing if you go to church while you're on vacation. Oh. Stand up if you like to take vacations. Stand up if you think that God should get to take a vacation. Okay, we can all sit down. We don't want God to take a vacation. Things would fall apart really quickly, right? Well, whether you really realize it or not, if you take a vacation from God, things start to fall apart inside too. While you're out there having wonderful time, resting, relaxing on the beach, wherever you go, bring God into that. Don't go on a vacation from God while you're on vacation. All right, we'll have one final round of applause for all of you. And that's the end of the presentation. One more announcement.
Hello, I'm Victoria Kerr. Most of you guys have met me in some way or shape or form in the church at some point. We are really excited about our Vacation Bible School this summer. The theme is Everest, and given everything that has happened, recent current events and so on, all of the kind of social justice work that we're going to be talking about with the kids at VBS will directly benefit victims of Nepal from the earthquake. And I am still in need of adult volunteers to help with VBS. So if it's something that you are interested in, you don't have to be available for all 4 nights, maybe just 1 night or 2 nights. We can fill in the holes where we can. And if the kids are interested, there were registration forms in the bulletin a couple weeks ago. There's also a link in the bulletin that you can go online and register your kids online. So I hope to see many of you at Vacation Bible School. Thank you.